Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Do your dance when the G's up. G. Spaced out. Got me geeked up. 10 toes on the west. Can I beat us? You cannot. Shining every time they meet us. Rack 'em up. Since 96. Yeah. Been number one in LA. Something like that's the gist.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final episode of Talkin Galaxy Forever. Tab is going to, he's going to play professional soccer and he's going to achieve all of his dreams. And I'm going to, I don't know. No, it's not the final episode. It is the final episode of the season, though. Tab, you got college soccer going on. No, chill out, guys. I was just kidding on the for everything. I didn't think you guys would actually care. So I'm a bit happy that you guys are like, what? Okay, look, I'm putting my hair up because I was playing intramural basketball. You don't understand the struggle of coming back from an intramural basketball game where you got clapped. You just got belt. We was playing. Yeah, okay. It's not fun, but it's fine. We're here now. Tab will be fired next season. Thank you. Appreciate. See, this
is that your burner?
No, it's not. Why would that be my burner? We got some Galaxy news and games to go over. Unfortunately, we do have a job to cover these games, and we're gonna start with the Dallas one. We'll go quickly over the. Oh no, we're gonna go back to the intro. No, we're gonna go to the Dallas game. Can you tell that we've been off for a little bit? We haven't been nearly as consistent with our podcast. But hey, we'll be back next year. It's just a tough year all around, man. The LA Galaxy won. We won. They finally locked in when it didn't count. Raised the banner. Raised the trophy. We won a football match. Elijah Winder scored in the 42nd minute, followed by an Anderson Julio goal out of the first, or at the start of the second half, and then Gabriel Peck, 87th minute game winner, saves the day for the LA Galaxy, and we get a result. We get a result against Dallas, and we played a bit of spoiler. Well, we almost did. I think they ended up making playoffs. But we could have very much been the reason why they didn't make it. And Tab, what were your initial thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think we kind of had some luck on our side. Usually during the season, luck's been against us. We've been clawing to get results, but everything kind of went our way this time. We got that early red card that kind of went our way. Personally, I don't think it's a red card. It's pretty soft. Maybe the ref saw something that we didn't on the cameras from the camera angles that we were given, but it looked like a pretty soft red card, and then everything kind of went our way for the rest of the game, apart from that Anderson Julio goal. So I mean, you know what they say, you got to create your own luck sometimes, and we created our luck that game, and it was a great finish by Winder and a great finish by Peck. He dribbled through a couple defenders, dodged and weaved. There were just cones in the box for him, and slotted to the far post.
Yeah, it was very nice to see Gabriel Peck actually score a game winner in this one. I feel like he's been the more disappointing designated player this year. I think Joseph Paintsil's probably been the better one in my opinion. So Gabriel Peck getting the game winner against Dallas was very important. We got a whole party in here. Yo. It's a party tonight. Dylan, welcome. Galaxy Memes, welcome. How are you guys feeling?
I'm doing good. NBA season is back. I've got the Lakers game kind of on the side here, so if you see me peering off to the side, I'm watching them get their butts kicked, but I'm happy. I'm good. How are you guys?
We're Clippers fans. We're all Clippers fans here, right?
Nah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think I speak for us all when I say that the Clippers are winning the championship this season.
If they can stay healthy, I'll give you guys a shot. I do like the squad makeup. It's just 500. Unfortunately, times kind of predict what's going to happen.
If this team were in 2017, we would definitely win the championship.
Yeah, that might be the greatest team of all time.
Yeah, actually. Galaxy Memes, how you doing?
Pretty good, another day of busy pledging. So yeah, I'm pretty good. But good to be back.
Frat Boy Galaxy memes, everyone. Welcome to Alpha Phi Frat Boy. Oh, sorority boy, according to him. He'd rather be called by his sorority pronoun.
Yes, sir.
Cheers. If you ever see Carlos on campus, please, he's a lovely lad. Please make sure to say hi to him. Galaxy beat Dallas. Back to the game. Galaxy beat Dallas 2-1. I thought Dylan, what'd you see from this game?
I think it was similar to the last time I was on the pod. This was the old Galaxy side of last season and not the one that we've been accustomed to this year. At least it tried to creep in at the very end, but for the majority of the game, we got 2024 LA Galaxy, which was enjoyable. Like I said, we haven't been able to get many of those, and luckily for us, this is a league where building off your worst season at the very, very end actually could mean something. So it was good. It was good to finally see this team build and do some good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to, I think the red card completely changed where this game is going. We lost in Dallas and it kind of started off similar as well. But I think ultimately over the course of 90 minutes, the possession stats, I mean, it reflected the red card. I believe it was somewhere in the 60s to the Galaxy, I believe. Maybe mid to high 60s. I'd have to look back at that. We dominated FC Dallas. They got a goal out of the second half, which made you worry a bit because it's the 2025 LA Galaxy. But hey, we pulled out a result. Gabriel Peck, game winner in this one. I was happy that we went. It's hard to take these games and take emotion from it when, it's been such a bad season. But you're right. It builds momentum going into next season and a potential CONCACAF run. But yeah, we'll be moving on from that game. That was a couple weeks ago. That's old news. Quick thing, Joseph Paintsil, Ghana national team, qualified for the 2026 World Cup. They topped their group, and Joseph Paintsil he came off of the bench a couple times. I think Galaxy Runs LA, you posted he got an assist in one of the games.
Yeah.
So this is going to be huge, honestly, going into next season. The fact that it's a World Cup year, you're going to see so many guys motivated in Major League Soccer generally to get on a World Cup roster, but not only that, to see significant minutes. And Paintsil is one of those guys. Now, look, he's not going to start for Ghana when you have Kudus and Semenyo on the wings. They're Prem players. They're really, really good Prem players. Joseph Paintsil, no matter how good he can be for the Galaxy next year, he's never going to start over them barring injury. But he can be the first guy off the bench. That could be Joseph Paintsil's role in that Ghana national team squad going into the World Cup. But yeah, do you guys think that you're going to see the motivated Joseph Paintsil next season? What's the expectation for Joseph Paintsil going into 2026? Tab?
Yeah, I think he's going to be extra motivated. I mean, you've seen him come in the past 2 years. He started a little slow, obviously, first season, just new environment kind of stuff. And then this season, he came in injured, had the quad injury that kept him out for maybe like 2 months, first 2 months of the season. So I think this season coming off, you have a little bit longer of a break. And he's got a World Cup on his mind. He's going to come in ready. He better if you want to get to that roster slot because it's not confirmed, obviously. He's not like an in-out star like Semenyo or Kudus. So he's going to have to work his way to get into that squad. So he's not like a lock like some players are. So it'll be interesting to follow. I think if he keeps up his form, there's no doubt he should get in the squad. Like I said earlier, if he got an assist in one of the games, I think it was versus Central Africa or something like that. Got an assist. It was late in the match to make it 5-1, I believe. And yeah, I mean, he's getting goal contributions, and that's what you want with the national team because you've seen teams or players with the U.S. That may not be the best in the club, but when they perform in the national team, they're there and they like an Alex Roldan type of situation. Maybe his performances with the national team get him into that World Cup squad. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm hoping we see the best out of him. I'm expecting the best out of him. Look, he's our DP, and I think the injury really tainted what he could have been in the early portion of the season. He just didn't look like himself, but the mentality's always been there with him. So it's just about matching health with talent. And towards the back end here, I mean, he's got 6 goals in his last 7. He can be our best player on any given game. And
6-7.
I did do another 6-7 joke. I'm really bad at that. It's been my kryptonite. I keep doing it.
I thought you did that purposely.
No, I genuinely didn't. But that's just the unk in me, unfortunately.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, Paintsville's the best. I'm a big fan. I'm expecting him to be our best player, and I think just getting Ricky back will only help his case make a World Cup roster and be that 6-man, so to speak, for Ghana. So
Yeah,
excited for him.
very much. I will be tuning into all the Ghana games in the World Cup, and it's going to be at a reasonable time. It's in the USA. Memes, expectations for Joseph Paintsville going into 2026. I had a prediction yesterday on Lacuna Galaxia that he was going to win the Golden Boot next year for us. Agree, disagree? Your thoughts?
That's not ridiculous to say that.
It's not crazy to say that. No, it's
But
not.
I do have him at a pretty high standard, with Ricky back. I think he's going to be in good form, especially with the World Cup coming up as well. Usually players have, they're in top form when the World Cup is around the corner, just so they can get into the squad, make the starting 11 and experience that. So with that being said, I think he is going to be, a high standard player next year. He's definitely going to be way better than he was this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think everybody's going to be elevated to a higher level next year just by having a better all-around squad. It boosts morale. And Paintsville's a very confidence-driven player. He's an emotion-driven player. He's a sensitive guy. And this is my captain for the 2026 campaign, by the way. People don't talk about it, but I think he's the guy. Assuming that we don't re-sign someone like Diego Fagundes, I think that Joseph Paintsville, who had the armband in Dallas, I believe it was, is in line for the captaincy, and I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it because he is a leader in that locker room. I can almost guarantee it, and he's very vocal. He's very vocal. You could tell that he has a lot of passion, and he knows how to lead a team. He plays for his national team, he represents them with Ghana, and he's very outspoken. So I think Joseph Paintsville is the perfect guy to take that captain's armband. I know I've seen some Ricky shouts in previous years. I don't think Ricky's captain material by any means, but yeah, Joseph Paintsville should be interesting to see how much that World Cup boost helps his morale. But this guy needs a break. Joseph Paintsville needs a break. He needs this offseason more than anybody on this squad, I think. You've kind of seen the injuries linger over. Some hamstring injuries with his pace. That's to be expected. A lot of those speedy wingers end up getting hamstring injuries, Joseph Paintsville included. So he needs a rest. He's not had a proper break since summer of 2023. It's time. It's time for him to actually get some rest and fitness into 2026. But we'll start training camp in early January because of CONCACAF, which is a perfect transition to CONCACAF. The CONCACAF Champions Cup draw will be on December 5th, 2025, I believe it is. This will decide our Coachella Valley invitational status. Right now, the Galaxy are not included in the team's list of Coachella Valley because it depends. It largely depends on where our first round matchup is going to be. Tab, do you have dates on the potential range of what a first round game would look like?
Yeah, so the draw is on December 9th, I believe, and there's 2 sides of the bracket. There's the bracket A side and bracket B side. So A is on the right, B is on the left. And I think the A side is from like February 3rd to the 7th or something. And the bracket B side is somewhere later on. I think it's like 14th around that. So I think we want to get on the bracket B side and try to get those later games. Because if we play in the earlier one, then Coachella has no point, no reason. Because
Yeah.
you need Coachella to get ready for those games. So there's no point in traveling to Coachella after traveling to somewhere in Central America or something. So we'll hope and see. December 9th, we'll keep you guys posted on that. So keep an eye out for that.
Yep, as always. Memes, CONCACAF Champions Cup. what does the expectation look like going into 2026? I mean, we're going off of a third place. I mean, we barely squeaked in. We were probably the Mickey Mouse spot or whatever it is because League's Cup, we won the consolation game. Can the Galaxy win CONCACAF with a healthy Ricky Puig? Or do you just feel like, Mexico, that talent gap is just superior? What are your thoughts going into 2026?
I mean, it's going to be tricky because, even though we have Ricky back, we do expect some, pieces that we have in our starting 11 to leave. So with the new signings that I'm pretty sure we're going to bring in, it's going to be tricky how the team, gets their chemistry going, pretty early into the season. So, I mean, I feel like it's too early to tell, especially with all the players leaving and, the transfers coming in.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. Dylan, your thoughts?
I'm gonna give a shout out to Mr. NGF Andrew because he's always been the most consistent person when we ever talk about this stuff, and it's always when Ricky Puig plays. I think that we are capable of beating anybody in CONCACAF, and to that point, in a knockout style tournament, anything is possible. And I want to see us go and try and win this. Like if that was the goal of next season, was to prioritize CONCACAF over the MLS, which it won't be, I would be okay with that personally. I really value this trophy. I think it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I just think it's one of the coolest trophies that we can win.
Is it better than MLS Cup in your opinion? Is it more I think it's more significant, but would you rather win an MLS Cup next year or CONCACAF?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, there's prestige with winning CONCACAF. Like I was in Seattle actually when Seattle won it. I wasn't at the game, but I was in Seattle, and that was one of the coolest environments I've ever been in a city for.
Yeah.
And I just feel like having that badge and having that status is super cool. And like only like Seattle's got that kind of status to them. And I'd love for that to be the case. I think I would pick that over an MLS Cup, but also to be able to say that we have, 7 is kind of to go from 6 to 7 would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Tab.
Okay, I got
or CONCACAF. What would you rather win in 2026?
I think I'd rather have CONCACAF, but the big but is if LAFC wins their second title this year, I think I'd rather have an MLS Cup to just kind of tick off what they've won. So if LAFC win it this year, I'd rather have MLS Cup next year. But if they don't, I'd rather have CONCACAF.
Could you imagine the LA teams alternating it like every year at this point? That'd be quite ridiculous, but I don't want to see a reality where they have 2 stars on that crest.
Yeah.
They could stay the little brothers. Memes, would you rather have CONCACAF or an MLS Cup next season?
I'd rather have a CONCACAF.
All right. I think I'm in agreement with you guys. And in fact, I think even if LAFC win MLS Cup, I'd rather have CONCACAF because it's like, we're not just going to equal what you guys did. We're going to do better. We're going to be the best in the continent. We're not going to be the best in America. We're going to run circles around teams like Club America. Not saying that will happen. It probably won't. But, hypothetically, if we were to win it, then I feel like that's even more bragging rights than an MLS Cup. But it doesn't put a star above your crest. But, to win CONCACAF when it's a Mexican-dominated tournament, that's pretty huge for an MLS team. So, I think the expectation is that the Galaxy will be competing to make a deep run. We need to be contenders in this. I want to see a deep run, even if it costs. I think we'll transition to the next bit of news. Good transitions today. We're back in Open Cup, everyone. We're back in Open Cup. The Galaxy will not play in Leagues Cup next year, which means that we'll have a random about a month break. At a point going into the final 10 or so games of the season, we'll have like a month break, which can kind of break up some momentum if we have it at the time, or be a good reset point to get firing and get some of these guys healthy if we have any injuries at the time. But we're back in Open Cup, the most prestige, or not the most prestigious, but the oldest competition in I believe it's North American soccer. It's been around forever, and there's a lot of history to it. We weren't in it last year because we were in Leagues Cup, but because of our performance in MLS play this year, we're back in the Open Cup. I think this is going to be the sacrifice. I've seen people. I think it's good. I want to preface this by saying I'm glad that we're back. I'm glad that we're back in Open Cup because I don't really like Leagues Cup as a competition. Tab, I believe I'm going to read your mind here. In all fairness, Leagues Cup was integrated in MLS play this year, but I guess to lower the schedule congestion at the end of the season would be a good thing, in my opinion. I think that only plays into our benefit. But at the start of the season, we're going to have to be ready. We're going to have to be ready to go. The preseason is going to have to be, I don't know what they're going to do in preseason. They're going to have some, they're going to have to be doing something extra. But Open Cup, would you guys be happy with the Open? Should we prioritize this at all? Or is this just going to be another one of those things where we throw out like Dylan Vanny and the other young kids and not that they're necessarily bad, but just play the younger guys and see if they could make a run in this tournament? We'll start with you, Dylan.
I love this tournament personally. As a US soccer fan. I think it's just it's heritage. It's like the FA Cup for English people, but we decided that we were going to throw this money grab tournament in instead, which sucks. So not to say that I want to see us prioritize it, because I also wouldn't want us to prioritize Leagues Cup if we were in Leagues Cup. But I do want us to make a run at it. Like, I just think that if you're a good enough team, you should be making a run at every trophy possible. And I think with Ricky, that's the only issue, is I just don't know how many games of Ricky Puig we are realistically going to get if he is coming off an ACL injury. And he isn't playing, and he's not playing in this postseason friendly that we have. And I question the ability of this team to do stuff without Ricky Puig. And so for that reason, I think if we were going to load manage, obviously you're not playing him in those matches. But I'd love to see us do well.
Yeah, totally. Tab, we'll transition to you. Should we prioritize Open Cup, and your general thoughts on being back in it instead of Leagues Cup this year?
I like the idea of Leagues Cup. I like how it's kind of the FA Cup for the US, but obviously it's kind of lost its value with the integration of Leagues Cup, where not everyone's involved in the Open Cup. So, like you've seen LAFC win it 2 years ago or something like that, where like only 10 MLS teams are in it, and like, okay, this isn't a real cup. This is a Mickey Mouse trophy. So I think it lost a lot of its value. But if somehow they bring everyone back into that league, into Open Cup, I think it's a real trophy. It has the same value as like an FA Cup, and I think that could be a position to get you into CONCACAF. If
it is.
It is. Oh yeah, perfect. So I mean, that's our chance to get into CONCACAF next season if we do win it. So I think you treat it like you're a big club in England in the FA Cup. You throw your kids out for the first couple of games against the USL clubs, the NISA clubs or whatever, whoever's playing in it. And as you get further in, you start bringing the big guns. You bring in the Ricky Puigs, you bring Gabriel Peck and all of them. And if you have a good run at it, you might have a chance to get into CONCACAF.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see some of the young guys, maybe even rotational pieces next season, get some starts in there. Guys who just need more minutes. Like, we would have probably seen some Miguel Berry ball or Christian Ramirez. But memes, prioritization of Open Cup. Should we just let the kids play?
I'm like 50-50 on this. Some part of me is saying to play the kids just because, the trophy has lost credibility. It's lost value. Why risk, our main starters, an injury, and, let them rest, let them not get burned out on the season. But another part of me is saying it's a trophy. We got to, represent. We got to, go for it. It's like you said, it's a great way to get into CONCACAF. So, I'm kind of 50-50. I don't know really where I stand on this, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm gonna predict that Greg Vanny, knowing his track record, is probably gonna throw out the kids until maybe if we make it to the semifinals that far, maybe the quarters, they'll start rotating some starters in and out. I think this is gonna be one of those tournaments where JT Marcinkowski gets all the starts. You know what I mean? Like, they give some of the guys rotation. They give some of the guys rotational minutes when they need it. But I don't think Greg Vanney and the Galaxy are going to take this seriously. So my prediction is that we'll probably go out pretty early in this. I think we'll be out by the quarterfinals, despite the fact that there's not as many MLS teams in it. Or I still don't think it's going to matter. For USL championship teams, this matters to them. Open Cup means a lot. They have that grit. They have that intensity. And when you're playing against a bunch of guys who just feel like it's a glorified friendly, that passion alone might get you across the line, if I'm being completely honest. So we'll see how it all plays out. I'm not sure how legitimate I would consider Open Cup anymore. I think the year that LAFC won it, and not just saying it because it's them, was the year it lost legitimacy because of the way that they handled the whole situation with Open Cup, and kind of the way that MLS has been separating itself from the USL Championship. Bit disappointing to see, in my opinion. I feel like the least they could have done is just like, because people send out their B teams anyway, at least until the quarterfinals or semifinals. Like, what's the harm of just labeling it as your main team? Just being like, oh, the Galaxy are playing an Open Cup every year. But we always throw out the bench players anyway. So who cares? Let teams like the Dynamo run up some trophies, if they need to feel good about themselves. Let them go ahead and do that. I know that competition matters to them. We only have 2 Open Cups. Maybe we could add a third, but I would not count on it, because I don't think that's our focus. And the schedule congestion is going to require a lot of rotation. That's something Greg Vanney's emphasized a lot, is the fact that we need proper depth next year. And that being said, I would not expect this to be something that we take seriously. And I know you mentioned it, Dylan. Ricky Pooge. We have a friendly against Club America on November 15th. However, Ricky will not be playing. And the way that we found this out is actually a little interesting. If you live under a rock, we originally reported, Tab and I reported something along the lines of Ricky Pooge. The Galaxy will play Club America in a friendly on November 15th, blah, blah, blah. Ricky Pooge is expected to return. And Ricky Pooge himself commented under both of our posts, not one, both. So he knows where he gets his news from. And he made sure to point out that he said not true. He said not true. He's not playing. He's not playing, guys. I will go off on a bit of a tangent shortly here, but while I wind up, I just, thanks for clarifying, Ricky, because you saved me $65. Like, you saved me $65. I ain't going to a friendly match against Club America. And you guys have every right to do what you want to do, but I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, because it's all going to be Club America fans. If you're a Club America fan in Los Angeles, I don't care if it's a friendly. I'm going to be at this game regardless. And they're probably going to put belt to ass. It's going to be bad. They're going to give us the paddle, and we're going to send the Ventura County guys out. They're going to be competing in Liga MX playoffs around the same time. Memes, can you please mute your mic?
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
So, and Ricky's not going to be playing in it. Now, here's my issue. Is the Galaxy, one, did not offer this game free to season ticket holders. And I get it. It's not included in season tickets. It's not an expectation that this game was going to be included, because we didn't know this was going to be a game until about a week ago. But I feel like with how the 2025 season went, that this is the least they could have done, was make this game free to all season ticket holders, as a little, it's showing your gratitude for the fans. If you really preach fan appreciation, then appreciate your fans after this disaster of a season and give them tickets to this game. But if you're not going to do that, then the least you could do is put them at face value. Except they didn't do that, and they're not going to do it. I looked on the pre-sale for this game, and tickets where I usually sit run at $25 per game, if not cheaper, with fees and everything. I got tickets for the Campeones Cup final, 25. Leagues Cup semifinal, 25. Leagues Cup third place game, 25. One ticket in Angel City Brigade for this game, 65. Now that's a slap in the face. Now that is an absolute slap in the face to the fans, in my opinion. Is the fact that it's clearly a money grab. It's clearly a money grab, but it's tone deaf. It really feels tone deaf that you could drop the season that you had the worst record in LA Galaxy history through a 34 game season, 0.88 points per game, just absolute. It's atrocious and it's embarrassing. And you don't even get the game at face value. They're going to charge you 65 per ticket and price people out. But Club America fans will pay it. Club America fans will play it or will pay it because they don't get to see their team that often in LA. So they'll pay that money. They'll show out for this game and they'll whoop us. And that's fine. But I feel like they shouldn't do that to their fans. I feel like it's a bad decision. It's a bad decision, and it feels like once again they're making a mockery of it. And yeah, I'll let you guys take the floor. Tab, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you've hit on the nail there. I don't think if the only reason I pay $65 to watch that game is if Ricky Puig is playing, and we got it straight from the source. Ricky Puig himself, he is not playing that game, so I will not be there. I don't think Payne will be there. I don't think many Galaxy fans will be there. But I can tell you that stadium is going to be very yellow, and it might be a slaughterhouse in that Dignity Health Sports Park on November 15th. You've seen players like Aude have been on vacation. I think Ricky Puig, he's doing something in Vegas. I saw on his
Yeah.
Instagram story.
My
I
stomping
saw
ground.
I saw Peck was doing surf lessons or something today. So I mean, the players are already in the off-season mode. They're not gonna
Yeah.
want to stay for a friendly match versus Club America where they're not even playing in their with their fans behind them. It's going to be a bunch of yellow around them, so it'll be interesting to see. I think, like you said, I think VCSC will get a lot of the minutes, and then maybe you'll see some players like Diego Fagundes, maybe like a Zavaleta. It'd be like their send-off game almost. Well, one final game for the Galaxy before they move on potentially.
Why not just let the season rest? Why not Peck, Paintsill, Pooch? They're not playing in this game. Your significant players like Marco Royce are not going to play. Yoshida probably not. They're all going to be on vacation, and Club America probably won't take it seriously. But it's just a cash grab, and it's whatever. But Dylan, your turn. Take the floor.
Yeah, you guys hit it. It sucks. It's a really crappy look on a season that was terrible, that had a bunch of turmoil between the fans and the club to start the season. It's just, like you said, it's tone deaf. And the worst part is I'm just not shocked anymore by the stuff that the club does to its season ticket members and to its fans, which is just a terrible spot to be in. It's a little deflating. Like the season was deflating. And honestly, I don't even know why any Club America fan would go to this. They end their season on the 8th against the team that's in first, and they're in second. And it's probably going to traject to be that at the end of the season. So nobody's going to play in this game for either side right before they have to go play playoffs at the end of the month. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke from both clubs. The fact that they're doing this, it's disappointing. And the fact that Ricky is responding and saying that he's not playing is also disappointing. I bet you the Galaxy weren't pleased that he came out and said it.
No, there's no way. I mean, Ricky Puig is not playing in this game. 0% chance that Ricky Puig plays in this game because he's confirmed it himself. You can't get a better source than him. You can't get a better source than him. And he doubled down on it under Tab's post. He commented the thumbs up emoji or something.
Yeah, he did a clap and a thumbs up. And the crazy thing
that's
is,
awesome.
On Dignity Health Sports Park Instagram page, on Galaxy Instagram page, and Club America, they all had Ricky Puig in their sponsor post.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Because they want to sell tickets. I know a Galaxy fan personally who bought 4 tickets for this game because they thought Ricky Puig was going to play at the extended rates that it's at now. And, it's such a money grab, and it's false advertising too. And I guarantee that Ricky didn't run him saying that he's not playing through the Galaxy organization before. He's a little Twitter demon. This guy has Twitter fingers. Like, he's all over social media. Put the phone down. Like, you know what? Thank you for saving me money, though, Ricky, and thank you very much. Because honestly, he could have just like played 5 minutes in this game. I get why they're not. If he doesn't want to play, then don't. But like, they could have easily, if they were really hungry for a cash grab, they could have put him off the bench for 5 minutes in this game. And just saying that he would be available they would sell a lot more Galaxy fan tickets like than what's going to happen now. So yeah, like you said, Tab, Dignity Health Sports Park, Galaxy, Club America, all of them are guilty of this false advertising and putting Ricky Puig in all the promos. They're probably going to have him like in all the promo videos that they do leading up to this. And he's not going to play. He's not going to play. So yeah, memes, your turn.
Yeah, I mean the dig is gonna look like a sea of piss. I'm not gonna go. I haven't been since the San Diego FC game, but I'm not trying to watch FC VC players play. So I'm gonna just stay home and do something better. But yeah, I don't recommend you guys going. I don't recommend you guys spending $60 for that. So don't go. You can go do something better for $60, and yeah, enjoy your weekend. Not get a beating by Medica fans.
Point.
You heard it. Yeah, you heard it from the man. Tab.
Yeah,
Tab.
I'm not going.
Okay, yeah. No, are you going, Dylan? You cover.
Hell no. I live in San Diego. The fact that I came up for a couple games this year is too many. I'm not going to no money grab game.
Yeah, it's going to be all America fans, and that's leagues cups like that too. It doesn't matter when a Mexican team comes into Dignity Health Sports Park, their fans are going to show up for it. Their fans are going to show up for it regardless, because Liga MX on a broader level is bigger, especially within a Los Angeles market, which is crazy to say, but that's just how massive Liga MX are in the scale of North America. So it is what it is. I'm glad that Ricky actually did that, so we don't have to waste our time. But make sure you drop questions in the chat, guys. Make sure you drop questions in the chat. We got some people trolling. Chances that Chicharito plays or McCarthy. Yeah, just any questions you guys have, whether it's from me, Tab, Dylan, memes, or Rob, who will be joining us very soon, I believe. Just send them. Just shoot it. Let's see. I know we had some beginning of the season predictions, Tab, you and I.
Oh,
And
let me pull it up.
let's
Give me one
not
second.
not exclude memes out of this. I believe I picked the Galaxy to finish third.
Wait. I can't see the graphics, all right? So don't put me on blast, all right? I just you just gotta read
you on blast.
You just gotta read it. I can't see graphics, so just like read it out. But I mean, it's probably bad, but
I got it up right now. Okay.
Oh,
We'll
God.
start with me. I'll flame myself. So I said Galaxy would get fourth. I said my MVP would be Peck. Golden Boot, Christian Ramirez. Defender of the Year, Yamane. Breakout player, Nascimento. Most minutes, Garces. Most assists, Peck. I think I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I went over 7, I'm pretty sure, from those. Kind of trash.
At least you didn't go negative. Because honestly, with this season, you could have gone negative, and it would have been okay.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, this season was kind of crazy, so you can't give me that much shtick for that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
Payton
then
next.
in
We got
regards
Payton.
to mine,
Third place, MVP Peck, Golden Boot Peck, Defender of the Year Yamane, Breakout Player Winder, most minutes Yoshida, most assists Peck.
Wait, who's this? That was mine?
That was mine.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I know I didn't pick Winder.
The only one I feel like I could have got half right there was Winder. Like, but
We didn't
I
with the most
has
assists.
been the breakout player of the year. But I don't even know how you categorize that. Maybe if you want to go a little more niche, Harbor Miller is a good name in there. But memes, it's your turn, buddy. Come on.
All right. LA Galaxy memes. Position 4th place.
Not bad.
MVP Peck, Golden Boot Peck, Defender of the Year Garces, Breakout Player Winder, most
What
minutes
the?
Peck, most assists Royce.
You know
Okay,
what?
I think that's
You
not
know.
that
You know what?
bad.
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
That's
not
pretty
that bad.
freaking
Marco Royce is our top assister. So
Yeah, Royce was the top assister. I think there's an argument to be had about Winder, and Garces is definitely our defender of the year, in my opinion, if you have to name one. Despite the start of the season, Dylan, you agree with that? And I feel like despite the way he started, I feel like he finished out very strong. So
Yeah, I don't know if I can give anybody a defender of the year.
Yeah.
I picked
Yeah,
Yamane in our
sure.
predictions, so I don't have any stake in the game here. It's not good.
Oh, do you have your own predictions off the top of your
I'm
head?
trying. The only one that I can remember is because I put it on our socials was Yamane as defender of the year, and that went sideways pretty quickly. So that's the only one I can remember. I think I predicted us to go back to back because I was giddy. But
Yeah.
that's the
I got
that's the
someone
only one I can
else.
remember.
But
We got to get Galaxy Times his predictions in because I mean his were something special.
Oh
He
God.
predicted Galaxy second place, MVP Peck, Golden Boot Peck, Defender of the Year Yoshida, Breakout Player Riley Delgado, most
Hell yeah.
assists Sanabria, most assists Sanabria.
Dude, that's legit. I'm loving it.
I think he went
Shout
negative.
out
Wait, if
Galaxy.
we're talking
He
about
may have-
negative, he
He
went
may have
negative.
gone negative.
I'm Galaxy Times, I guess. What an era we've had this year. Yeah, Riley Delgado. He is a good prospect, but breakout player was a bit crazy even in the moment. To pick that out. But hey, who are we to judge? Dylan, question for you. Honest place in the league next season. You call it right now.
Oh, it's tough. I'm gonna go third. I think that we're gonna have to ease back in Ricky, but I think we've been building at the end of the season, and I expect our GM, who built a championship roster in one summer, to be able to put together something salvageable in another summer with very usable parts. I also expect us just not to play as badly as 17 games without a result or without a win. So I'm going to go third and be optimistic. I'm unfortunately too optimistic, but I'm going to go third.
All right. We're going to put this man on the spot from the first second. Hello. Honest prediction for our placement in the league next season, Rob. Welcome to the podcast. Boom. Take your shot. And he's muted. I don't think I don't.
Come on, Unc.
It's just we'll let you figure that out for a second here. You can tap back in. We got a question. Chances Yamane is gone before the beginning of next season. I'm assuming it's going to say tab. Chances Yamane is gone.
If I was the what's it called, the GM, I don't get rid of Yamane. I think I keep him for one more season. I think when you do have Cuevas and Harbour Miller coming through the ranks, I think you need that veteran experience because what if it goes south? I think you need someone that's going to be steady, someone that's going to be there and going to be consistent. Obviously, he wasn't the consistent player that we thought he was going to be this season, but I do think you need that veteran presence because Cuevas and Harbour Miller are just it could go bad. Not, I doubt it would, but just for safety reasons, I think you keep him. But to actually answer the
Safety,
question,
yeah.
chances, I'll say 40% chance he's gone.
Okay. I would put it at even lower, honestly. I'd put it at 15% chance he's gone. But I also would do it if I was the GM because I'm not keeping someone on above 900K salary for safety reasons. I'm sorry. I think Cuevas is the truth. But Rob, are you good?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
There we go.
Well
Yeah.
in. Well in.
Woo.
Chances
Technology.
Chances Yamane's gone, and additionally, put your placement for next year in. We need your way too early prediction.
Way too early prediction for next year. For placement would probably have to be about 4th or 5th. You still have a couple new pieces next year that are coming in, hopefully, and they're going to have to learn Greg's system and get acclimated, yada yada. But you have returning people like Ricky Pooch that already know the system. Your Elijah Winders, your younger players that are coming through. Hopefully they'll be big contributors. So yeah, 4th or 5th, as long as they get that top 4 spot and they can get home field advantage in the playoffs. And regarding Mickey Yamane, I don't know that you've called out a couple times about his contract. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, he is, I believe, 33, 34. So if there's a time to cut ties, it's probably right now, especially since you have Mal Cuevas and Harbor Miller right there in the pipeline.
I don't disagree. Dylan, chances Yamane's gone.
I think it's low, and I think it's because they are starting to view Harbor Miller as a backup winger.
Really? Okay.
I think that because he is so forward thinking and because it is so hard to get backup wingers at low costs in this league, Harbor Miller has been forced into a role where he's done pretty well. And the reason I say that is because they've played him over Lepley, and I haven't been able to understand it for the life of me. But if you're signaling that Lepley isn't good enough at winger, but this kid who's your right back is good enough to fill in at winger, I think that's where they see him being long term. Little Gareth Bale-esque, right, in terms of what I'm seeing here. But I with that in mind, I think Yamane sticks around. I also just haven't seen them really say anything about anybody who's on this border of contracts. And I think it's because they believe this team is good enough to win a cup with the guys they've got. I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen them say otherwise. The only player that has been like, we don't value your time here is Christian Ramirez, and he doesn't have a contract next year, right? So
yeah,
I have warning flags in that sense, but that's why I think we keep him. I think it's really low.
Yeah, I agree. Galaxy memes, chances Yamane's gone before the end of or before the beginning of next season.
I think it's a low chance as well. I wouldn't be opposed of him leaving though. I think Cuevas is ready. Like John Cena says, the time is now. So he's ready. I wouldn't be upset if he's the starting right back. I think he has what it takes to be the starting right back for the Galaxy. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tab. I know you already answered this question, but I was curious on your prediction for next season standings wise.
My prediction, I think realistic prediction, I think we get 6th, but I would like us to get that top 4 to get that home field advantage first round. But I think with just so many uncertainties, especially just right now, just because the season just ended, the way too early prediction I think is 6th place for me.
All right. Yeah, that's a good shout there. I'm gonna say 4th. I think the Galaxy will finish 4th, and then they'll end up making a run in the postseason. Probably they're gonna have to be a better away team than even that 2024 team was, honestly, because I think you could be expecting with the schedule congestion at the start of the season to be dropping some points if you want to make a run in CONCACAF. You probably sacrifice Open Cup and just getting Ricky Puig reacclimated to everything. It's gonna be a growing process, I think, for this team. So yeah, I think there is something. I think there's something to be had, and then we'll do one last one before we move on to the Minnesota United game. Who will be the surprise new addition of next year? And they want a big name. Do you see a big name coming to the LA Galaxy? Realistically, do you see a big name, or are we just going to go in the direction that we've been continuing to go in the past few seasons? But it could even be on a TAM deal. So I'll let Rob take the floor first because I know you seem very intrigued about this one. So I'll let you go ahead.
I just don't know that they have the resources, right now anyway. And you did bring up Tam, and that mechanism, but and in terms of at least DP money, you have your 3 DPs already taken care of. The one of the bigger questions going into the offseason is whether the Galaxy keep a guy like Diego Fagundes around, who's on, I believe, like 1.2 or 1.3 million. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if in fact they do move him on, which hopefully doesn't happen. Hopefully they land on a number a little bit lower than that, and he sticks around. But if they do free up those funds, then you can go out and kind of bring in maybe like a U22 or one of the we'll do the Miami, like we'll give you a TAM deal this year, and then next year we'll hook you up with a proper DP spot. But I like I said, I don't know if you're going to be able to find like a big name on that money. They're going to have to get creative with the way they do it, unless you're moving on a bunch of different pieces. I mean, yesterday, Peyton, I mean, you were on with us on Lacuna Galaxiana, and some people were floating the idea of selling Gabriel Pecky, right? And so I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
I don't think you sell him until you get a big offer.
Right. Like 25 mil, right? At least 25 mil. But that's what some people are floating, and so who knows if they are actually going to keep those 3 DP spots, and if they do get rid of somebody, then that's the first domino to fall. If they do get rid of one of these DPs, it's probably not going to be Ricky, obviously, because he's just coming back. But if they do get rid of one of the DP wingers, that's the first domino to fall, and then look for something big to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe Joseph Paintsil makes a ridiculous World Cup run with Ghana, and people will snatch you for a World Cup run.
Yep.
I know there's a question if Peck or Nascimento can make Brazil. No, like not at all. Nascimento is not even a thought. They probably don't even know who he is. But Peck's a little further back on that radar. I think well, a little closer on that radar. I feel like if he makes a move to Europe potentially, it'll be interesting. But big names coming to the Galaxy. I mean, guys, does anyone think that there's potential for a big name? I feel like that's the better question. I mean, I know Lewa is one that's always floated around, but Dylan?
That's the one that I've been pretty consistent on. I have no backing or any information on the idea of him coming, but it just makes sense, right? He's out of contract. He's old. He knows Marco Royce. We kind of need a striker, and he'd be that TAM deal you're talking about. It's very similar to the way Zlatan came over. It'll be after the World Cup, and it'll be the idea of Barca doesn't want to renew up that contract, and so you get him on a cheaper deal, and then you've got Lua as your 9 to end the season. I don't think it's look. I don't know if it's likely. He's still a very productive striker. He could probably stay in Europe if he wanted to, but I'd like to see it. I'm not going to say I wouldn't. It's Lua.
Yeah. Tab.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
I don't see any big signings, but I do think the biggest signing, as in what's it called, just for the team in general, I think is going to be an MLS veteran center back.
Yep.
I think that's the big sign that we need. So I was just looking through the free agency list right now. You have players like Jack Elliott, Steven Moreira, players like that, just that have MLS experience that can kind of hold down the back line. Because that's what we kind of thought we were getting with Zonka, but that was a very wide miss from Will Kuntz on that one. Or who brought that in? It was Mikkel Denscher. Yeah,
that guy. Fraud.
That one was a miss. But maybe bringing someone with MLS experience that has done good in this league. I think that would be very well suited with Garces, and then maybe Yoshida has also stepped in because he's got a couple of years of experience too.
Yeah. I honestly don't see any big names coming to the Galaxy, but yeah, I think most critically is a center back. That's position. If I'm Will Kuntz and I could only add one thing next season, it's a starting center back.
Yep.
To pair alongside Amiro Garces. Jack Elliott's my fever dream. Like if he signed for the Galaxy, I think our defense would be so significantly better, and also our set piece defending would be better, and our set piece attacking would be better because he's a big man. That is a big boy. He can get in there. He can get in the mixer. I love what Jack Elliott does. But I would love to see him. I would
Someone
love to
flip
see him
that.
come over. Yeah. I'd love to see Jack Elliott potentially come over to the Galaxy. Realistically, I don't know, but we have the dough for it. You know, we have the crumbs. We'll start a GoFundMe. We'll scrape together some money. But we have more flexibility than we had this year to maybe go out and spend big on a center back like that. So I think Jack Elliott has to be a target, but if not, just another quality MLS experienced center back. No more of these guys coming in from Europe, please. Like maybe South America get a Miro Garces regen, but these guys from Europe are so hit or miss on adapting to Major League Soccer. And I thought Zonka, honestly, my expectation was pretty low. I was just like, hey, as long as you do better than an injured Martin Cáceres last year, then you're fine. Then you were an okay signing. And he somehow did worse than a guy who didn't play last year in Martin Cáceres almost at all. And not necessarily as a, critique on Cáceres. It's just that's how bad Zonka's been. But I'm also hearing, if you're in the COG Discord, Zonka's going to go. Zonka's going to go probably back to Europe. I think, it's nothing confirmed, but the Galaxy are going to offload Zonka. That's their number one priority on the people out of the club is Zonka. And I don't disagree with it. I don't think anyone here disagrees with that. He's been atrocious. He's been horrible to watch. He's one of the worst defenders I've ever watched in my time as a Galaxy fan, and we've seen some bad ones. We've seen our Pipo Gonzalez's, Ciani's of the world.
I was about to say, you think he's worse than Ciani?
That wasn't my era though. I was just before that. So
man, I don't know.
He was pretty bad. He was pretty bad.
Ciani's a rare breed, bro. Ciani's a rare
breed. That was a really good shot. He was awful. He was so bad.
Who was worse?
Skelvig. Oh, remember Skelvig?
Also garbage. Zonka, look, he's same ass, different cheek type of vibe, but like we also were awful all season. So like I can blame him for a lot of stuff. I can't blame him for everything. Whereas those guys were really bad. Like really bad. Can I toss out a free agent who is currently on the market and could be a injury project? Because I threw it out on our X a while ago, and it's Tomiyasu. This is a guy that hasn't played, got his contract axed by Arsenal. He was making about $5 million a year. He hasn't played because of an ACL injury. Could you potentially bring him in on some form of TAM deal? Tell him, hey, your countryman is here with Yoshida. Come build some form. See if you can potentially get yourself worked into a World Cup roster. And then you can always go back to Europe. But currently, you're not making any European team with your injury record and your history. But the MLS could be a great foundation for you to springboard back to Europe. I feel like you have to get creative with the level of money and then the talent pool that's at play. And he feels like an option that could be available if you were to give him a project to work towards. Like you give him JT Martikowski's kind of plan where it's like, hey, you've been hurt a ton. We'll give you some game time here, let you get built up to it, and then you can go jump again.
Yeah. I think it depends on the price. Like if you could get him on a TAM deal, then yeah. I don't know what his salary is looking like at Arsenal, but yeah, with his injury history, he's not making anything right now. But Rob, take it away.
I'm sorry. What is the question specifically?
Just could you see somebody like Tomiyasu coming to the Galaxy?
That'd be a great signing. I mean, Dylan's right. I mean, you give a player like that a project and say like, hey, work yourself back into fitness. You do have comfort there with a couple of your fellow countrymen if Mickey Yamane does in fact stay, and then you do have Yoshida. Premier League proven defender. The Alberto Samuel says in chat is more of a right back though. I thought that as well,
Yeah.
but I don't know if like he plays center back as well. But how are you going to pass up on a veteran good defender if the money's right? And that's really at heart, if the money is right? Because if this player got his contract canceled, he's going to want to get picked up and assure himself of a nice contract and a nice salary that's going to make it worth it, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily Dylan, do you know how old he is, Tomiyasu?
I think he's 26. Yeah. The
Mm,
right back
yes.
point is probably fair. I think but the issue is when you talk about Arsenal, they play center backs at right back. That's just their MO. They like big physical athletes across the back line, which I think he's like 6'2" or 6'3", if I'm not mistaken. Like,
Yeah,
he's a
he's 6'2".
big dude. So
Yeah.
like he could definitely play next to Garces. I don't think that would be much of an issue in this league. He'd also be one of the best ball playing center backs in the entire league if you were able to pick him up.
Oh,
It's
don't
a
tell
fever
Danny
dream.
that. He'll get too excited.
Don't get me wrong. This is a fever dream. It's just something that in terms of the style of signing that I think we should try to expect, that's what you need to do. You need to be creative. Like a Paddy McNair for SDFC was kind of the similar mold of player where you're like, European experience, maybe they're not cutting it there, but they can come here and be like one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
I got some players that I've done some research on just now. Similar to the Paddy McNair shout. I got Yerson Mosquera from SC Cincinnati. He was there in 2023. He transferred over to Europe. Not getting minutes at Wolves right now.
There you go.
He's had 2 seasons at Wolves. Not many minutes. Maybe bring him back. He's a Colombian center back. He's played for the Colombian national team in this year. And
We'll have a good time with Amito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Austin Trusty, he had some what's called U.S. national team call-ups. Currently, let's see where he's at. Austin Trusty. Oh, someone take it away. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
He's on Celtic. He's on Celtic. He
Yeah.
hasn't played a ton of games. Maybe you can give him some minutes. He's at Colorado Rapids and Philadelphia Union. That's also another shout. Maybe you bring someone from Europe that hasn't got many minutes, bring them back home, see if they can get back into the U.S. squad and hopefully relaunch their career.
Yeah. The Colorado Rapids mold right now. Galaxy memes.
Yeah.
Free agents. Do you have any ideas, any names in mind? It
You know,
big one.
one of the first names that popped up to my head was James. I'm pretty sure his contract goes up as a Leon, but that's kind of unrealistic just because we already have a number 10. I don't, that was the first one that came into my mind. I think it should be good. He's a really creative player. He's phenomenal. So I mean, that's my shout, but it's highly unlikely.
Okay, you heard it from him, James Rodriguez. Me. Just get me Jack Elliott and just give me a guy who's proven it in MLS, and I don't, I'll be happy. Let's continue to build that kind of mold. In my opinion, I think we're good. We do have to move on now to the LA Galaxy versus Minnesota United. I'm sorry, we have to talk. We have to talk soccer. Unfortunately, we won. We won, guys. I mean, Nascimento on the half volley in the 12th minute. Very, very clean finish. I think that's his 3rd goal in Major League Soccer play this season. Obviously came back from the injury. There was questions on if he was going to come back at all this season or ever in a Galaxy shirt in the second half. Maybe not. But on his potential last game, he gets a goal, and it's a phenomenal strike. Just a poacher's finish, really. I know the Lacuna Galaxia podcast, you guys always call him the perfect Vanny striker. And yeah, I mean, another interesting thing to take into account is the fact that Nascimento's kind of had to play a false 9 role at times a bit this season, because I think, in my speculation, is because of the lack of Ricky Puig. I think bringing in a striker of that profile, they know that he wasn't going to be like a Dejan Joveljic, where he was going to, because Dejan came in here with a 19-goal season in the A-League. So he had that proven goal scorer track record. Nascimento never did. and still doesn't necessarily have, but you could see shades of what he can become as a player. But Nascimento is honestly a bit more of a false nine. He likes to get involved in build up. And he's a vanity striker for sure. And I think he helped out a lot this season when it came to build up and whatnot. I think a large part of our success in the second half of this year's came from Nascimento, especially in League's Cup. He went on a run. And then Joseph Paintsel doubled the scoring in the 52nd minute. Man, he was not going to slow down. That he took off, and he was still running when he hit the ball. He was running at full speed. He didn't take any time to set it up for himself or compose it. He just whacked it. It hits the post and comes back to him, fortunately, on the rebound, and he buries it. No real chance for Dane St. Clair to get the save on it. And now you're like, wow, because if Minnesota were to win this game, they would have moved to third place in the Western Conference, which might not seem that big of a jump. They're still going to get a home playoff game. But when you consider the implications that they might face LAFC at a point in the playoffs, and when that happens, it will be, if it happens, it will be in LA. It won't be in Minnesota, which could have a huge impact on the result of that. So even though this game, virtually, they already had their home playoff game sealed, it meant something to Minnesota. But the Galaxy, with the pressure off, play so composed. It really feels like partially the expectation at the start of the season was just another anchor in how bad that momentum was at the start. Because first of all, I talked about it yesterday on Lacuna. When you're losing, it feels like you can never win. And it goes opposite. When you're winning, it feels like you can never lose when you're on one of those streaks. But when the Galaxy were winless through the first 16 games of 2025, it felt like they were never going to win a match. But it wasn't a talent issue. They were playing good in some of these games. It was a mental block. It was a mental block, in my opinion. I think part of that was the pressure of being the defending champions, alongside of, the obvious of not having Ricky Puig, losing Mark Delgado, losing Dejan Joveljic, some of your new signings not coming out immediately, firing off of the gates. Like Winder took some time to adjust. Sanabria, we still haven't seen the best of yet in a Galaxy kit. It was daunting, but they built into it with time. Minnesota pulled one back in the 94th minute, though. And then you're like, okay, classic 2025 LA Galaxy. Of course you can't keep a clean sheet. And now you were like, okay, surely we don't end this in a 2025 fashion too, right? And we didn't. They had that bicycle kick attempt, and it fell short, but we played spoiler, and this team plays best in 2025 when they are the spoilers. Last year's team fed off of that underdog mentality. This year's team is a bit similar in that case, but they also like when opponents underestimate them. They could catch teams off guard, and that's what they did a lot. Tab, your analysis of this match.
Yeah, I think we're Minnesota's bogey team. Obviously, early in the season, we tied to them at their place, and that was when we were in a lot worse of a spot than we were right now. I think that was our first point of the season, and realistically, we probably should have won that game. I'm pretty sure I had a late equalizer to tie that game up. So, I mean, obviously, the start of the season, we got that point. We beat them here, and we beat them in playoffs last year. So maybe we got a little bit of voodoo magic on them, but we seem to do somewhat better against Minnesota every time we play them. Whether that be because of tactics or whatever, that might be the reason. But
Yeah.
we always seem to get something out of the games. And this game, I thought we played pretty well. Obviously, this is a team that's in playoffs. They just missed out on that home playoff spot. Or did they get fourth?
No,
Or
they
were
get home playoff.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows that when we're on our game, we could easily be a playoff team. But obviously, just we weren't there at the start of the season. Maybe we were mentally checked out or whatever. But yeah, I think that just proves, obviously, this game and obviously the FC Dallas game, it proves that if we had a better start to the season, we could have been there. But unfortunately, it's just not the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Dylan, what did you see from this match?
Similar to the Dallas one. It sucks, and I think it's just overarching looking at it as like we got results in 5 of the last 7 league
Mhm.
games. And if we just weren't as awful as we were to start the season, this team could have had legs here to maybe make a push in the playoffs. And it's disappointing. I think Joseph Paintsel is kind of the story of this match for me. He's so good. He was so good. He assisted himself. That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive, dude.
Winder too.
Winder's been great. I honestly think that this game put into Ricky Puig for Fagundes, you're looking at the 25-26, well, 26, potentially 27 LA Galaxy. I think that's the starting 11. If you don't see any like massive changes in terms of a center back or a striker, like that's what I would be rocking with. I think that's our best team.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, honestly. I like the idea of that. I think maybe more depth in the midfield, depending on if Fagundes leaves or not,
Sure.
is fair. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, the boys already kind of touched on it. I mean, the Galaxy took care of a really good Minnesota team, a team that's in the top 4 in MLS, a team that's usually very defensively sound. That broke through 2 times, in large part through Elijah Winder and Joseph Paintsel. Characteristic of him getting in behind with that Winder pass, and like you guys mentioned, just kind of passing to himself and getting the goal there. But I mean, this is the kind of result that in equal measure makes you happy because they won, but also infuriates you because you say to yourself, where was this performance all year? You've had these pieces, I spoke to Greg in one of the press conferences, and he said, at the beginning of the year, we didn't have the transition game, and they didn't have the injured wingers. And while that's true, when the wingers came back, they still didn't have the transition game, and it still took them a little while to figure it out, and they dropped very winnable games. So in this one, you saw a microcosm of the entire Galaxy season in just one game, right? Anything that is typical Galaxy happened in this one. They gave up a late goal. It was off a set piece. They imploded and got they did something silly, i.e., a red card for Edwin Cerrillo, missing now the first match of next season. And they made it at the end kind of nervy for the fans. Throughout 90 minutes of that game, the fans were enjoying it and kind of relatively comfortable. And in just the last couple moments, the Galaxy had to say, "Hey, remember me? That anxiety, that fear that we're going to drop this one. Well, hey, we're going to give it to you for the last couple minutes." And that's 2025 for you. They were just reminding you exactly what 2025 was like. But overall, I wrote an article about this, about how this win is a reason overall for optimism. You have players like Nascimento, who did get a nice goal. If in fact he does stay, he probably will benefit greatly from Ricky Puig. And by the way, Peyton Ananda is the one who calls Nascimento the perfect Vanny striker. My jury's still out on him. Actually, I don't think we saw enough. I don't think we saw enough of him. And
let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation now. If you not saying what Will Kuntz will do to start, but if you are sitting in the desk of the general manager of the LA Galaxy, Will Kuntz, you are Will for one day, and you have the decision to bring back Nascimento. Let's throw a figure of $4 million. Let's throw a figure of $4 million, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, give or take about $4 million. Would you bring him back right now? Because you've seen his final game and you're the shot caller. You have to make this call. Tab, bring him back or no?
I'm bringing him back. I think you ran it with season 1. I think he has done enough to earn himself somewhat of a chance. And I think with Ricky Puig, like Rob was saying, he's going to do a lot better. I think Ricky Puig unlocks Peck and Paintsel a little bit better, unlocks different parts of the game. And with that, you saw Dejan Jovic be super successful. He was in the box and he gets tap-ins. So I think he will benefit greatly from Ricky Puig coming back. And he was playing on one of the worst LA Galaxy teams of all time, and I think he was a bright spot. So I'd bring him back if it was
Okay.
around 4 mil. I think if it's over 5 mil, I think that's where we move on and look for a different striker. But anything below that, I'm good with him going back.
All right. Rob, time to make your call.
Yeah, I bring them back for 4 mil. Considering and you're gonna have a good time with this one, Peyton, because I know how you feel about this man. But considering the Galaxy paid 5 million for Sanabria, then 4 million for Nascimento should be kind of a no brainer, considering that he contributed a lot more this year than Sanabria did. Now, sidebar, yeah, I think so. I think if you're pushing 5, then you can go out into the market and find better value for money for 5. I mean, sure, you're gonna have to bring in a striker that's gonna have to like relearn everything, but still, like there's value. I mean, you can go into like Colombia or Ecuador or even Argentina right now and drop a 5 spot and walk out with a jugadorazo, bro. Like walk out with a player and a half. So I mean, and they showed it by going into Brazil and picking up Nascimento in the first place. So even in just in Brazil, you can drop 5 bands and get a player, man. So
Yeah.
I think they have to do at least the due diligence of looking elsewhere. While still keeping the option open on Nascimento. But if it is in fact just 4, then yeah, let's do it. Like 4, he goes on a U22 deal. He doesn't count against the cap that much. Sure, why not? Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. I want to hear your opinion on this, Dylan.
I had the stat a while back, and I stopped taking track of it because the season got so depressing, and it was after we had lost the 3rd place game and he got hurt. But our win percentage, or at least our result percentage with Nascimento, was like 70%. Like we were picking up points with him starting 70% of the time. The numbers back that stuff up. I don't think they're underlying in the way of like, oh, we can just look past it. Like we are a much better team when the kid plays. He reminds me a lot of Roberto Firmino in the way that he picks up the ball and carries it. He's not a polished finisher by any means, but he wasn't coming out of Botafogo, from my understanding. He was this flair kid with a unique body frame for a striker. And look, if he grows into that frame and he's able to give you any form of production in the air, along with his talent on the ground, I think it's a home run waiting to happen. And there's got to be some form of, is there any obligation with the loan that he's currently on?
No.
Okay.
I think the only thing I've heard speculation of is that with the loan, it comes at a bit of a reduced price to buy him, which is why I threw around 4 million, because I think it might even be less than that. I feel like it'd be around that region. If we pay over 5, then it's too much. But memes, are you bringing back nasty Nas?
Hell yeah.
Any reasoning?
He knows the system already. I feel like it would be kind of a step back if we get someone that doesn't know the system and we don't build off of Nascimento who knows the system and just connect them with Puig and get the chemistry going. I think it's like a loss on our part. So just keep him for that reason itself. And he's shown bright spots and he's a pretty young player and he's only going to get better. So I for that reason I say we keep him.
All right, and now here's the part where I disagree with all of you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not hard stuck on him not coming back. But I think if I'm making that decision as Will Kuntz, I don't bring him back. And the reason why, and that's not to say that he won't come back, because I think he will. I think the chances he stays, in my opinion, are 65% chance that he stays. I think he's coming back, but there's one reason that is really holding me back, and it's something that Vato referenced in the chat. Injury issues. It's starting to build himself a little track record at the LA Galaxy. it's the reason why he didn't start from, well, Christian Ramirez was probably going to start either way from match day 1, but it's the reason why he didn't get significant minutes earlier. He was rehabbing injuries, and it kept piling on. It kept piling on as as the season progressed. He quietly missed over a month after the League's Cup semi. I think it might have been more than a month. It might have been a month and a half or near 2 months after the league, probably a month and a half after the League's Cup semifinal game that Dylan referenced. I think you need a striker who's going to be there. You need a strike, and he's too young to be having these injury issues, in my opinion. And now, if you have the chance to go ahead and find you a guy that's going to be there all 34 games, you do it. In my opinion, you do it. But that's not to say that I wasn't impressed with some of the things he did when he was on the pitch, and more so, I think him with Ricky Puig would cook. I think Nasty Nas with Ricky Puig would absolutely cook next season. My question is, how often is he going to be on the field? How often is Nascimento going to be on the field? Because I could tell you right now that everything we talked about earlier, our MLS Cup expectations, CONCACAF expectations, Open Cup goes out the window if your starting 9 is not, if the guy that you're relying on to have a big breakout season next year with Ricky Puig is not available for a good portion of that, it's going to catch up, and we'll slump in MLS play. We'll slump in the standings. Regardless, we need a very, very competent backup 9, if not at the same caliber as Nascimento. And I thought Ramirez was going to be that guy, but Vanny saw it the other way. I was kind of a bit higher on Christian Ramirez than most people were, at least the first 10 or so games of the season. But like you said, Dylan, I mean, the stats speak for itself. The team wins more. They get more points. When Nascimento's on the field, it's just, how often is he going to be on the field? And if I'm Will Kuntz right now, I'm gonna let him go back to Brazil, and I'm gonna use that money in a different area. I think asking AEG to splash $5 million again is going to be tough. I think it's going to be a tough thing, and that's why I think Nascimento will come back, because I think we're going to get him on a discount from Botafogo. And after you spent as much money as you did on Lucas Sanabria for him to not pan out so far, I think it's a very difficult ask to make AEG write another check when they haven't seen anything come back in return yet. That Peck money hasn't hit. The Ricky money that they're supposed to get hasn't come through. Sanabria hasn't panned out so far. He's lost so much value, I'm sure. So AEG is not going to be so, willing to write checks. And I get it. The Peck and Paintsel, all that money was virtually repaid in an MLS Cup. But when you spend $5 million on a U22 player, I don't think you could expect that to be the standard, which is why I think he will come back. But I don't think he should. I don't think he should, because it's just availability for me. It's as simple as that. But I think we're going to be looking at Barry and Ramirez being offloaded. I would expect Ruben Ramos Jr. to take a step into that third choice role. Maybe it's a bit premature, but that's what I'd be looking at, honestly. Tab, do you think he's going to come back? Do you think he's going to come back? Not your opinion.
I think yes. I think there's so much uncertainty that I think that will come next season. I think you try to limit that as much as you can, and I'm not sure what's going on in Will Kuntz's mind. But I think he wants to try to limit the uncertainty because of what happened this season. There's a lot of uncertainty coming into the season, ton of new pieces coming in. So trying to limit that and getting pieces that you're familiar with, pieces that know the system. And if you can keep those pieces in, I think that's going to benefit, and it's going to improve next season. I think with the addition of Ricky Puig, that the pieces around him will be better. Ricky Puig exceeds the level of the players around him and brings up the level of his surrounding players. So I think if I was Will Kuntz, I think he would keep him as well.
All right, Memes. Is he coming back?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Is he coming back? Not would you? Is he?
We're talking about Nascimento, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Okay. Rob, Dylan, same opinion on that?
I honestly don't know. Like there's like I said, there's just so many other dominoes that could fall that would affect it that I just don't know. I mean, uh, I feel like Vanny likes the player, so I would be willing to say that, yeah, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen either.
Yeah, I mean, he's learning English. He's best friends with Peck. I think it just makes sense. But Dylan?
Yeah, no, I think he comes back. I also don't think if he wasn't coming back that he would have played in these last few games. I think
Yeah.
that's an indication that he comes back. You don't play a full 90 and then your team's just like, all right, see you, bro.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. So
That's a good point. Full 90.
also, we just need to hit the ground running, right? Like it's such an important start to the season that I think LA Galaxy Memes was saying it. Like you can't walk into a season with a new striker and have him adapt to a Vandy system. Like whoever's in this role next has to be good right away.
That's a great point. I mean, by the way, shout out Diego Fagundes. I snatched
hell yeah.
the ball on fan appreciation. He chucked it into Galaxy Outlaws, and I nabbed it. But 2026, guys. Let's look a little forward here. I think there's real pressure on not only Greg Vanny, who a lot of our fan base already wants out. I wouldn't pull the trigger on that if I were the guy, calling the shots on if he goes or not, if I was Dan Beckerman or whoever reports to that. But there's pressure. There's a lot of pressure going into 2026 on the Galaxy to perform, and that's never guaranteed in Major League Soccer. Never guaranteed. We could talk all this about a Galaxy resurgence and, hey, it's just going to be the 2023 to 2024 bounce. It doesn't always pan out that way. And there's question marks around this team. And not to go on a negative tone, but this season's been negative. I want to talk about a few things that really, really concern me. But also, I think Kuntz is under pressure too. I think Will Kuntz is under serious pressure because, well, maybe not as much as Greg Vanny, but I think he's underseen the best transfer window in Galaxy history, and I think he's underseen the worst transfer window in Major League Soccer history. And I get it. He was tightly pressed against the cap space, but I think there's pressure on Will Kuntz to get these signings right. If they keep throwing darts at the board and it lands in duds, then I think the Galaxy are going to have real questions asked about them. But I think Greg Vanny will be the first guy tossed out the door, contract extension or not, in my opinion. I've heard, third corner of the Galaxy and whatnot, there's ways out of it. There's ways to at least minimize how much you pay them. Here's my concerns. One, is Ricky Puig going to come back the same player? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he will. And now, look, I love his work ethic. And I think if anybody's capable of coming back and being even better, potentially, it's the guy who played on a torn ACL for 30 minutes and got the game-winning assist in the conference final. That being said, there is never a guarantee that players come back from this injury. And furthermore, he's going to be looking at a year and 3 months since the last time he played a competitive soccer match by the time we're in CONCACAF Champions Cup. To say that Ricky Puig coming back and being the same player, being as great as he was in 2024, especially when this team has to hit the ground running, as we talked about, everything is about how this team has to go from the jump. There's so much pressure. If this team starts bad in the first 10 to 15 games, Vanny's gone. Vanny's getting the sack, in my opinion, because the track record speaks for itself. Missed playoffs 3 out of 5 years. I believe he has a losing record as the Galaxy's head coach. That being said, I still believe that all gets wiped away by an MLS Cup, because that's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate prize. But that can only take you so far. I have concerns about Ricky Puig being the same player. And if, it's unfortunate, but you got to also manage the fact that you got to make sure that he doesn't re-injure himself as well. You got to manage his minutes. He can't go 90 every game. He cannot go 90. He can't play Open Cup. I would imagine he doesn't play Open Cup anyway, but he can't play Open Cup. He can't go as just straightforward as he did before the ACL tear, where it was like, yeah, Ricky, you're just penned in to start 90 minutes through 34 games. It's not going to happen, and it can't happen, in my opinion. Second thing, we talk about the free agents, and yeah, the Galaxy are playing with a good amount of money here, but there's some bad players under contract. There's some bad players that Will Kuntz and everybody in the front office are going to have to deal with offloading. Zonka, it seems like they're already working on a solution with that, but it's going to have to happen. Is there a team in Europe that sees something left in his career? Maybe you could offload him to Saudi or something. Anybody that will take him, can you get a full salary wipe on that? Or are you going to have to take portions of it? I feel like we'll probably have to take a portion of Zonka's salary. Furthermore, I think Miki Amane making as much money as he has, maybe it's not as urgent for him to go, but that salary that you could offload. And honestly, does Yamane start next year? I don't think so. I maybe just for that veteran experience, he comes back better or something next season. Maybe it was a slump. But I think Miki Amane's best days as a Galaxy player I think it's already happened. I think it was 2024. He was the best right back in MLS, and his fall off this year has been difficult. Furthermore, Maya Yoshida, I would imagine that he stays as the third choice center back for the Galaxy. I don't think he's going anywhere. Those three players in my mind, I think have questions to be asked on. Are they the guy to receive significant minutes, or are they going to hold us back in 2026? What's it going to look like? Are players like Yamane going to bounce back, or is this a sign of a career going downwards? It's to be seen. A lot of people want to make a goal. A lot of people think we have a goalkeeper competition. Now, I'm not going to say that Novak Mitrovic has been the perfect guy this year, but I feel like we're more secure in that. Like, I feel like I would invest money in other spots before I touch goalkeeper. I feel like JT and Mitrovic as your first and second choice are fine. But I have serious concerns about that. How much pressure is on Greg Vanney and this coaching staff? And how long would you give him before you pull a potential sacking if the Galaxy are, let's say, below the playoff line by however many games? Tab.
I think it's got to be a diabolical start similar to this season if they're gonna pull a trigger pretty early on. I think it's gonna be rough at the start, especially with CONCACAF and MLS. We've seen teams struggle, and we struggled at the start of the year. Don't think it was because of CONCACAF. I think it's just because our team was not very great. But I think this first part of the season is gonna be rough. I will say that. I think fans will start getting a little. Their feathers will get rustled, but I don't think you pull a trigger in the long run. I think you keep Greg Vanney. I think he is a great coach personally, and I'm Vanney in. I've been Vanney in all season, and that hasn't changed for me.
Yeah. Rob?
There's an intense microscope on Greg Vanney and his coaching staff for next year, especially with Ricky Pooch coming back. You know that Will Kuntz is doing his best to get rid of the dead weight in terms of players, in terms of contract, and bring depth and reinforcements. So Greg is going to have to get it right from the outset. I mean, one of the lads said, from jump. Yeah, from jump. I mean, you're going to have to take care of business in the Champions Cup, which is probably your first competitive game of the season. You have to pretty much go in there with a very short training camp and everything, and you still have to get a result. I mean, getting eliminated in the Champions Cup in the first round would be catastrophic.
Yeah, that's a tackable offense.
Yeah, and so it's a very, very short leash. I mean, I would give it no more than 10 games.
Dylan?
I'm going to have this be my last segment here. So thank you guys in advance for having me on. And you can find all of our socials and all this stuff for COC Network at that handle right there. So again, appreciate you guys. But in terms of Vanney, I think that he has until he's out of all the competitions. I think that when you have a season like this and you're given a contract extension in the way that he was, there's a certain you can do no wrong, and we'll bite the bullet when we absolutely have to. the way the league works, also we've seen it with a lot of the sackings just this season. Like bad teams kept their coaches till the very, very end of the season. And then they wiped through when it was the cheapest to do so. I don't imagine us being anywhere near as bad. So I think that he's got until essentially the end of the season. I think the goal next season will be to bounce back in a way of making playoffs or winning a trophy. It's got to be one or the other. And I don't imagine us being that bad to where it's going in that direction. I think that he has so much weight in the current squad and what he's created here with the Galaxy that it is almost impossible to get rid of Greg Vanney without it being a colossal clusterfuck. Like, to say it very poorly, there's just no way of getting rid of Greg Vanney and it not just crumbling at the seams. And this season was very bad. I can only imagine it being 10 times worse, which is not a good spot to be in. But yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate your time.
Once again, where can people find you?
COC Network. You can find us there. We do Clash of Clubs, Prem stuff, and then Clash of Cosmos, which is all Galaxy stuff. So go ahead and find us on socials and YouTube.
See those United scarves and jerseys.
Hey, man. I had a good weekend.
There we go.
I had a good weekend.
Why? Did anything happen?
Nothing important. Nothing
Okay,
that you would want to watch the highlights for. I promise.
No, probably not.
Well, you know the scouts lose the internet when stuff like that happens. So
it usually goes pretty poorly. It's getting really laggy, especially when Maguire's bangs in headers.
Harry Maguire.
Up
Slab
the res.
Slab head.
All right, you guys.
Thank
Have
you
a good
very
night.
much
Appreciate it
for
as always.
stopping in. We'll be wrapping up very soon, guys. Galaxy memes. How much longer does Greg Vanney have if the Galaxy start out poorly?
You know, I'm also gonna piggyback off of what Peyton and Dylan said. I give him to the end of the season as well. I don't think we're gonna have a bad start to next season. To be fairly, I don't think we were even missed playoffs. So that puts him on a right track again, and it gets him. You know, it puts him behind the fans as well. You know, I know a lot of fans are always saying that Vanney out as soon as we lose 2 games. So, I mean, I've never been Vanney out, so I'm just saying that we give him until the end of the next season for sure.
Yeah. I'm more with Rob on this, honestly. I think there's a microscope. I think people who are Vanney out this year, honestly, have a potential case. Like I don't, it's not what I would do, but I kind of see where they're coming from on it. So I don't entirely disagree. I don't entirely disagree with it. Some other miscellaneous news. Mauricio Cuevas awarded Lars Player of the Year. Well deserved. They always kind of pick niche guys. You're not going to get a Joseph Paintsil or Marco Royce on this. They pick, guys that honestly deserve more flowers than the media will be willing to give them. And this is the right call, in my opinion. I think he solidified himself as the starting right back going into 2025 or 2026. Cuevas is that guy. I highly believe in his potential. But I feel like he's also here. He's shown it. The proof is in the pudding. He's been an amazing right back at times for the Galaxy. I mean, there's been some slight defensive concerns, but I think that can be said for everybody on that 4-man back line. Him and Harbor Miller are the truth at that right back position, man. I believe in their potential so much. I wish one of them was a left back, actually, because I think the Galaxy part with Ade, the more I think about it, the more I feel like they part with Julian Ade, and probably send them either back to South America or Europe, in my opinion. If he could get him to Europe, good for his career, but I don't think Ade ends up staying, because I think the Galaxy value that U22 spot in a position like midfielder, where we might need some depth. But then again, we have Sanabria, so maybe they invest it in the center back and then go Tam in the midfield. There's so many different combinations of things you could do, but I just don't think the Galaxy value it at a left back spot. And his injury history is also worrying. We talk about injury histories of a U22 player. Nascimento's building one. Ade's also had one. Ade's had one since he's come in with the LA Galaxy. He's shown flashes at a point, but John Nelson had a great game against Minnesota. He was defensively very sound. I know we were talking about the defending the badge player on Lacuna Galaxia. John Nelson, very, very underrated left back. Will he stay? We don't know. Honestly, I feel like there's a team that's willing to give him more money than we could offer him. But how much does he love LA? How much does he have respect for Greg Vanney and the system that rejuvenated his career? So a lot of things to be had, but Cuevas, Lars Player of the Year. Congratulations to him. Allison Drini handed it to him. He was at the game. Another thing, I know Rob briefly touched on it, Edwin Soria will be missing the first game of the 2026 campaign in Major League Soccer play, which means that he'll be good for CONCACAF. He's a workhorse anyway, in my opinion, so him probably getting a bit of a rest between CONCACAF, maybe not the worst thing depending on how the schedule works out, but we'll miss him in MLS play. And once again, for a team that has to hit the ground running, you want Edwin Soria, and it was just, I didn't even see the red card. Did you guys see that red?
I think he delayed the restart of a game and got a second yellow, if I remember correctly.
Rob?
No, I actually did not see it.
Yeah, I did not see it at all. But he's going to be out the first game, which is only going to hurt the Galaxy to not have, a midfield three of Soria, Puig, and Winder. Or whatever TAM player they decide to get in that position. But yeah, Diego Fagundes, also a free agent, might be ending his Galaxy tenure 1 goal and an assist away from 80-80, which honestly would suck for him to not get that in Galaxy colors. I feel like, just bring him back for that reason.
Right.
So 80-80 for us.
Can you imagine he goes to a new team and he does it like in the first or second game there where he has no like time in, no history there? Like, nah, dude, you got to bring him back.
Yeah, it all depends on the price for me, but I think around
Truth.
It's gonna depend. I feel like for Diego Fagundes. Before we wrap up here, and we'll field like a couple questions, but Diego Fagundes, what's the right price for him? Just throw out a price. Throw out a price that you bring Diego Fagundes back at. And I feel like the stipulation here is that other teams are probably going to pay a lot more. But go ahead. We'll start with you, Rob.
He's at 1.2, 1.3 right now. You offer more time versus cash, right? So if like, he's like, hey, because he's also gonna want. Well, to be clear here, the Galaxy do have an option, right? So they can deny that option because, of course, they would have to pay him at his current rate.
Yeah.
So they deny the option, and then they go to the negotiating table. And so instead of the 1 year that at 1.2 that they would have had to give him had they picked it up, give him 2 years at maybe like, 7 or 8, and lock him up for 2 years, get that veteran leadership, get a versatile player that is shown to be able to slot in anywhere, and get him helping the team as a depth piece for the next 2 years rather than just one. But I don't know that there's like a right price. I mean, because Diego ticks off a lot of your intangibles, a lot of the stuff that you don't see in the stat sheet. But if we're having to hammer something down, maybe you go as high as like 750. Any more than that is pushing it.
Yeah. Tab.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track there. I think around 750. I know. So what? Yoshida, is he on 900 right now?
600.
600?
He went down.
So he went down. So I think you can predict off of that. You can say, Diego Fagundes can see Will Kuntz has offered him less money per year, but it'd be more money in the span of 2 years. So I think in that sense, I think Will Kuntz will do the same thing. So maybe around 600K, and that'll get him up to that 1.2 mil that he's earning yearly right now in the span of 2 years.
All right, memes. What's your price range on Fagundes coming back?
I'm gonna say probably like around 600, maybe 700K.
I knew that was gonna happen. I'm gonna go with 700K. I think his performance at the end of this season is showing that he still has it in him. The unfortunate part is, you're just gonna have to hope and pray that he values being in Los Angeles and the stability of life in LA
Yeah.
and how much he loves, playing under Greg Vanney, and like maybe Tab even mentioned a prorated contract over 2 years. Could very much be in the cards here instead of maybe one elsewhere. But I think the chances he stays is that I would put it at a 20%. Honestly, I
It's
think
gonna be
there's
hard.
I think they'll definitely deny his option. I would be shocked if they accepted that at probably even more money than he made this year, I'd imagine, because that's usually how the options being triggered
Right.
works.
You usually get a raise.
So if that were to be the case, I would just be mind blown. And honestly, it'd be a bad decision to do so. In my opinion, despite his contributions towards the end of this year, I just don't think he's coming back. I think this is going to be one of the pieces where he'll probably go back to New England or something, or broaden his horizons elsewhere. I don't see him coming back. Maybe he'll go to San Diego or somewhere within California, just so he doesn't have to move too far, which would hurt to see. But he will likely be a free agent, and I imagine he's going to field all offers, and he's going to see the money and be like, I love LA. I got a house here, but what can you do? What can you do when there's a big price tag on the end of it? We'll take one question here. I just wanted to say, so send a question in the chat, guys. I think I think we'll do a show the week that they have the contract options. We'll do maybe a shorter show around an hour talking about the contract options and what the 2026 off season is going to look like. But I don't even see any questions in the chat right now.
I see one. Thoughts on Liverpool?
Yeah, I see that too.
No, I don't see that one.
That's a great question.
Thoughts on who?
Liverpool?
Exactly.
Okay. Does Parente stay? I don't know that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think he didn't get that many minutes after the start of the season. I think he'll get some good money elsewhere because he proved at times that maybe, I don't know, by good money, like 400K elsewhere, and maybe a better like minutes promise. So yeah, I don't think he stays either, but I think we have an option on that. So maybe it's just better to do that and get some more midfield depth in. But Tab?
Parente. I mean, he's on a club-friendly contract, so I think you need that depth in the midfield with everything coming in. I think why not keep him? I mean, if he's gonna start costing you a little bit more than what he's gonna be playing and gonna be worth, I don't think you bring him back. I don't know the actual numbers on this, so I'm not sure. But I think if it's a friendly contract, I think why not keep him? He played some vital minutes that he probably wasn't supposed to this year. I thought he gained some pretty good experience, and at times I thought he fit in pretty seamlessly. So why not?
All right, memes.
Would I want him to go? Nah, I think he was a pretty good, player to bring into the field. But with the money that they're offering nowadays, I think you do see him go at the end. So yeah.
All right. And then just quickly another prediction into 2026. Your Golden Boot player, Tab.
I'm gonna go Paintsel.
Copied me. Memes.
Paintsel.
Okay.
Rob.
I was going there too, man. I was going there too. I mean, he's been the most consistent. I mean, he scored 10. He scored 10 last year. He scored 10 this year, and that was without Ricky, right? So I think he's gonna take even another step next year and come up with 15 to 20.
Ruben Ramos Jr. for Golden Boot, everyone.
Vamos.
It's happening.
That'd be nuts, and I'm for it.
Yeah, yeah, he's my breakout player of the year. All right. Well, this is the last official episode. Whenever we go over contract options, that's going to be the start of season 2 of Talking Galaxy. This is the end of season 1. You made it. We're an hour and 50 minutes in. It's 11:04 p.m. We're at the end of the road of season 1. Thank you all very much. All of our guests, Tab for appearing on so consistently, even with soccer. Memes for your great insight and humor.
You're welcome.
Rob for being you, just for being you and providing your great analysis. You
Oh
always
man, then thank you for being you and selling me those Flintstones vitamins that you all sell me.
Yeah, man. Of course. They we will continue our dealings in 2026.
Tap in.
You guys are always welcome back onto the pod next season, of course.
Thank you, man.
Anytime you want, just let me know. We're at the end of the road, everyone. Season 1. It's been a great first season, and I just can't wait to look back on this in a couple of years and be like, wow, that was so bad. I think that's how we'll end up looking at it in perspective, but that means it's growth. We learned a lot, and there's a lot of things that we want to do a bit differently in season 2. Hopefully we'll have that a little mascot in the top right, our powered by StreamYard mascot out. It depends. We're gonna try to get super chats at a point and whatnot. That's down the road. But we got some slight tweaks coming in next year, and maybe a couple new additions to the permanent cast members that you see consistently. So everyone, for the last time in 2025 season, although we'll have another podcast in 2025, where can people find you? Tab.
Galaxy Runs LA over on TikTok, Instagram, and X.
Rob.
You guys can find me at El Escudero de LA on pretty much all the socials. You can find the podcast at La Cuna Galaxiana. Go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that like, and of course you can always find my written work at the Sporting Tribune. Not going to be taking any time off in the off season, so I'm going to keep the written content coming, and we're going to have stuff in there like we talked about tonight, like way too early predictions, which Galaxy players would say or should they go. So watch out for those.
Perfect. Mean.
You can find me at LA Galaxy Memes on Instagram, and you can also find me on the Talking Galaxy app on Instagram.
App? We have an app?
Channel, whatever.
We will be back for another podcast for contract decisions. I'd imagine that happens within the next week.
I think you have to do it by the 26th of November. I think
Yeah.
Colin Bogert posted today. Something like that.
A bunch of teams are doing it now. So, we'll be back when that ends up happening. If it doesn't happen, then we'll see you whenever that ends up happening.
Wow.
But I think it's going to happen within the next 7 days. And we'll talk about that, and then probably go on a few weeks of a break until we start actually getting some real transfer rumors and real moves happening as all that unfolds. Thank you all throughout the entire course of the season for tuning in the chat, being very active, always showing your support for the Talking Galaxy podcast. This is only the start. It's only going to get better as the seasons go on, and it's been a really, really rough season to start a podcast in. So, all credit to you guys for regardless showing up in the chat, watching every stream that we have. We have a lot of consistent guys, like Vato's always in the chat, Hasbet's in the chat, Joe Cool's in the chat, Blessing Paintsill, Zlatan the Goat, we have Will Ant, all of these great guys who've shown their support time in and time out consistently, and so many more that are just always here. And we appreciate you guys, and the interaction in the chat makes it so much more enjoyable to do this. So yeah, we really wouldn't have a podcast without you guys. Seriously, I couldn't do this without a chat making me laugh every couple of minutes. So thank you all very, very, very much for a very successful first season. And we will see you with contract decisions whenever that may be. We'll let you know. Make sure to follow myself at LA Galaxy _Buzz, Galaxy Runs LA, Rob memes, all of them, and all the work they do. Make sure to go ahead and support them. Amazing work over there, Rob, with the writing. Just great articles. If you ever need to catch up on even more Galaxy content, if you're fiending for more, Rob's got you covered, and Tab and I got you on the latest news, and then memes is just memes. So as for the 2025 season, thank you all, everyone, and we will see you with